right, boys and girls. We are here to recap. Some fights happened. Some fights. This was probably like one of the worst episodes so far this season, if you ask me. Got some decent finishes, but overall, pretty mid-level stuff. I mean, signing that one guy that looked really terrible is a bad look to me. But nonetheless, we're gonna do the regular thing. We're gonna recap the fights quickly and obviously react to cue ball. Speaking to the media, by the way, what's up, AJ, my good friend, Paradox the Chad. Good to see you. Good to see you. Kobe, Anthony Ganskow, my good friend. Good to see you, my friend. Hank did a great show. Yes, he did. The Leprechaun, good stuff. No, Hank. He, obviously lives with his parents in his mom's basement. So I think he is getting some dinner. Look, by the way, I wish I could get a home cooked meal every night. Are you kidding me? Poor Alabama and Cameron Teague. Yeah, we'll go over it. I won some dollars on the last fight. Stupid underdog. Dude, good shit, man, because he was a huge underdog. Yeah, and some other underdogs cashed tonight too. So good stuff, man. I have UFC 2 and 3 to go back and watch. Hey, what's up, Western Mass? Good to see you. Juiceman says Nolly heel back clip Hollywood 16 first go. He's in Hank jail. Yes, his parents have called him. Minnesota football is straight joke. Oh shit! Oh no, the fucking guy from Minnesota got fucking his ass whooped. I told you, man, that mullet gives you +5 strength, but -5 fight IQ. So, wait, are you serious about Hank? 100% serious about Hank the Tank living at home with his parents. I mean, to be fair, he's a really young guy, but yes, I think his mom has dinner ready. So, huge underdog, undefeated Ukrainian against massive favorite. Fucking football player sounds like free money. Hey, man, good look, Paradox, good look, man. Obviously, we're sitting here just kind of waiting for Dana White to start speaking to the media. I will play it on here, and we'll kind of just react to what he's saying. But yeah, let's go over the card. He looked like Tanner Bozer and Roy Nelson mixed together. Dude, that is 100% true. Preach, says the Leprechaun. Cool breeze, good to see you. No, nothing wrong with that, bro. That's cool. I just thought he was older. No, unfortunately, no. Okay, wait a second. Holy shit. Jay Sharp just sent me a picture of Corey Feldman. Well, why don't you look at him? He looks terrible. Anyway. Oh shit, just dropped my phone. I read go. I thought wrestling, but nope, football. Vallejo's did a great job. Definitely the star of the card. So speaking of the card, let's go through it. So obviously we had this lady who came out and looked like she was on a jazzercise routine versus this woman from Brazil. This fight was all right. I actually really liked the work that Alexia did. But I don't know, the fight wasn't super good. There was a lot of swinging at air, not landing much. But I actually thought that she was a decent signing from my estimation. Definitely a good fit, good addition to the 115 strawweight weight class in the UFC. Obviously wasn't blown away with her performance, but she did good. Her opponent did not. Apparently, Dana White said she was a 7-time state champion in wrestling or something like that. he also did say that Loner Kavanaugh was like a 5-time K1 champion. So more Dana lies. Shocker. But yeah, I was not really sour on this signing. I thought it was a fine signing. So yeah, she looked good. Glad she got a contract. Obviously, the star of the show was Kevin Vallejos, as the chat says now. Vallejos did a great job. He did. He beat the hell out of Cameron Teague, who was No Chill's guy. Vallejos' body shot was high IQ since Cam's face is rock. Yeah, no doubt. Good stuff. Yeah, he smoked him. It was a good one, though. I read Gophers. I thought wrestling, but nope, football. LOL. Vallejos is a beast. Excited for him in the UFC. Yeah, and I guess he's only 22, so good stuff. That chick was mean. I loved it. She was just bullying her. Yeah, exactly. Only lost to Gian Silva by the UFC. It was amazing. That chick was mean. Oh, shit. He's got like mad. He's spamming us. She was a multi-wrestling champ. Oh, yeah, more Dana White lies. But, yeah, Kevin Vallejos, as Isha said, only loss was to Gian Silva, which is actually fucking fascinating. This guy, Cam Teague, obviously No Chill, did an interview with him. So, you know, a lot of us in the community just kind of rooting for the guy who I said looks like Big Red because he's ginger. But, yeah, I mean, this was a straight-up beating. And maybe you could have called the cops for this one because Kevin Vallejos looked good. He pretty much just steamrolled him, as Paradox said, just mixing it up, body shots, uppercuts, hooks, like hurt Cam Teague early, and he never really was able to recover and get anything going. But yeah, no, he beat the absolute hell out of Cam Teague, and definitely the best looking guy on the whole card. As far as like his prospects in the UFC, 145 is just a meat grinder of a weight class. But nonetheless, 22-year-old looking that good with the skills that he does have. I loved it. He obviously gets, that knockout in the first round. I'd be interested to see what happens when it goes to the ground with him. But super, super pumped for this guy to get a contract, and it was definitely well-deserved. The most deserved contract of the night, besides probably the main event. But, yeah, no, we got to actually see, what he can do on the feet. I don't recall his fight with Gian Silva, but certainly he made some improvements. So, still don't really get the Cams tough, though. Never doubted Vallejos. Good shit, and good to see you, Lane. Vallejos, one of the only guys Gian Silva couldn't KO too. I'm glad you made that point because he did make it to the final bell with Gian Silva after getting hurt by him. So, yeah, he's looking good, especially for a 22-year-old. Love it. The next fight was this god-awful, terrible abomination of a fight. Kevin Christian gets the submission by triangle armbar. Did he have an armbar locked in? I don't remember. He says, Lane says, Vallejos most deserved contract IMO. 100%. I'm right there with you. But yes, Kevin Christian looked like just a regular ass dude. Gut was hanging over his shorts a little bit. Hadn't had a fight in 4 years until about 7 months ago where he got a win. And then he fought just a guy who was just a slightly more in shape dude. This night of fights, man, had a lot of really inexperienced people on it. Which again, it's Contender Series, so we're not like expecting the highest level of MMA. Well, let me tell you, this was some pretty low tier MMA for me. Neither guy looked good at any point in the fight ever. And there was an instance where there was like 2 minutes of them literally just staring at each other. Kevin Christian is incredibly slow. He even walks slow. His walkout was slow. When he was leaving the cage, it was slow. Did you guys see him do this to Dana White as he was walking past him? He should be thrown in jail. That should have been a felony for him to do that. The security should have grabbed him. They should have thrown him out of the arena. like Johnny Walker with no shoes on. Yeah, this fight was terrible, but Francesco Mazzeo throws a really ill-advised takedown and just gets himself caught in a submission. Let's be real here. Kevin did, or is that his fucking name? Kevin? Yeah. Well, of course his fucking name is Kevin. He's just an average fucking dude. Kevin did not get a submission. Francesco submitted himself with that god-awful takedown. I am shocked that they even signed this asshole. The guy looked really terrible in there. Mick Maynard needs to do better scouting. I mean, seriously, why was this guy ever even a prospect? Obviously, he's 6'7", so cool. But I am looking forward to this guy, Kevin Christian, getting absolutely chinned in a UFC fight. I will be stoked. Now, maybe he can go to the PI and like actually get that gut fix that's hanging over his shorts. But I don't have high hopes for this guy. In fact, I have terrible hopes for him. I just said that I can't wait for him to get chinned. But yes, signing this guy. What are you doing, Dana? What are you doing, Dana? Fuck Mick. You should have roasted Mick for even allowing this man to be on your fucking show that you don't do any scouting for. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Now, this fight was probably fight of the night. The first round was really back and forth. Vadim had Daniel hurt multiple times in that first round. He had some really good ground and pound. And then he kind of made the decision to like stop the ground and pound, kind of let it be back on the feet. But what then happened in the second round was Vadim totally gassed out, like 100% gassed out. Somebody in the City Life Project said that he had like a broken septum or like septum surgery, and he always breathes out of his mouth, sort of like a, DDP situation. But nonetheless, he completely gassed out. Good comeback from Daniel Frunza. Beat the absolute hell out of Vadim, and the referee kind of had to like give him a mercy stoppage because he was just getting hit so much and he was so completely gassed out, could not defend himself. Some people said it was an early stoppage. I think it was warranted because, like I said, the guy was completely gassed and just wasn't doing much of anything, taking clean shots on the ground. Daniel Frunza gets a nice win. Shows that he can fight back from adversity. Definitely stoked on this dude, especially at 170. 170 has been cooking. But I mean, Vadim really just kind of gassed out. So I don't know. The next fight, the main event, Danilo Voivodkin versus Bailey Schoenfelder at heavyweight. He was a heavy dog at plus 420. I saw some books earlier in the week had him much higher of an underdog. But yes, as Isha rightfully pointed out, this guy, I mean, really though, if you look at these guys' records, like I think that they both had like under 10. Oh shit, it's right there. Yeah, they both have under 10 fights. 6 fights apiece. And one guy had 5 fights. But yeah, I mean, the reason why I say that Vallejos is like, the most deserved contract is because we didn't really see anything from Danilo. Like, he just hit him with one big shot, Bailey, and just choked him out. That's a wrap. Not much to say there, we don't know anything about the guy. Obviously, he was going to get in the UFC because he's a heavyweight and he got a finish. So, good for him. But the real story is this man right here, Bailey. Just a former football player and guy from Minnesota, don't you know? With a mullet, nonetheless. Just getting his ass whooped. And as they say in the Midwest, oh, that's tough tomatoes for old Bailey there. No Chill says, Bailey shit at fighting. Yes, that is fair. No Chill, you are welcome to come on the show and grieve for the loss of Cam Teague if you'd like to. I will drop the link in the chat soon enough. But yeah, what do you? Somebody did ask me what did I rate the card out of 10. I don't know. I mean, it was only 5 fights, right? So I guess I'm being a little harsh, but I mean, really, the kicker for me was this fight right here. This fight ruined the entire card. Kevin Christian, for me, I guess you could say it was a 7. I guess I've kind of changed my tune a little. I opened up the show saying it was the worst Contender Series card of the season, but overall, it wasn't bad. We had a decent fight between Frunza and Vadim. Vallejos looked amazing. This fight wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great. And then obviously the very quick knockout in the main event. So, I mean, I guess that's all you can really ask for from our Contender Series card. But nonetheless, yeah, give me like a 7. Give me a 7. I'll say a solid 7. As is most of the girls that I've dated. But yeah, just sitting here waiting for old Cue Ball to get on the mic. Said he's going to start in about 3 minutes, so we will pull that up. Let's read some comments, though. Kevin Christian is an engineer by day in Brazil. This matchup was a joke. Facts. Vallejo's only loss was to Silva, a savage. 100% Lane, you're on point. Mazzeo got one of his 4 wins by DQ, the other by his opponent hurting himself. Really a 2-0 guy. Next. Wow. That's why you do your research, folks. Unlike Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby, apparently. Now a UFC fighter, he should. Yeah. Kevin Christian just being a UFC fighter is really, that's like the most 2024 thing to happen on this card. Christian ain't no Tolleson. No. Who was your fighter of the night? Mine was the black chick. Actually, she's Brazilian, but yes, she is very dark. Definitely Vallejos, 100%. You could throw Frunza up there, coming back, getting a finish was good shit. Dana got out of there like he had a stripper waiting in the hotel. Well, he probably does, and probably not a hotel room. Well, he's probably got multiple houses there in Las Vegas. Let's be honest. It's probably right up in the apex. He's got some hookers and blow. You know what I'm saying? Good old Dana White. But yeah, let me actually put this up here. But yeah, Snow Chill, you got to come on the show, and if you got time, you got to come on the show and grieve the loss of your good friend Cam Teague. No Chill did do an interview with Cam Teague, so we were all kind of riding with the guy. But I did watch No Chill go through all of the stages of grief when his boy lost. So this link will be for him. I guess if anyone else wants to hop in, I'll bring you in after we react to the presser. But it should be starting here in about a minute. So, Isha, if you'd like to hop in, you're always welcome. But yeah, I'm hoping No Chill takes the invitation here. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought of the card. Who was your prospect of the night? What would you guys rate the card? Tell me your most terrible takes, or give me your best roasting of Kevin Christian, please. I would love to hear it. But yeah, overall, I mean, not the worst night of fights, not the best. Good stuff. I'm going to get off weed for my mental health. Hey, look, man, I quit smoking weed in December, and don't regret it. And I haven't looked back, man. How are you, Hank? Hank, why don't you tell him how you are? He says he's good. Vallejos, and I rate it 9 out of 10. Good shit, Kobe. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself watching this. Fights. Look, they got to do better scouting. I mean, as he just said, the Italian guy, one of his wins was by a DQ, and the other one was by his opponent just quitting. So he's really only 2-0. And Dana White, he always uses that cheap cop out. He's like, "Oh, I don't do the scouting." It's like, okay, that doesn't make it any better that you have terrible, scouting. Like, this is your show, dude. That country boy from Atlanta was so mad he lost. He forgot to line up for the decision. I could be a contestant on there. 100%. We'll just get you some smoker fights. Go down to Mexico, get you like a 5-0 record, and boom, you're on Contender Series. Okay, now they said live in 23 minutes. Oh, wait, what? Let me refresh this. No, chill. That link is for you, buddy.
Was that something personal with her, or was that something you do in every face-off?
Ontem, durante a encarada, vocês
blabbing.
Liberal, or is the
I didn't refresh it.
The fighters better,
right,
and that's why, because this year you've given up around 80%, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, if you go through the list, though, you got this girl. She looked good tonight. She fought a tough girl who's 7-0, and now she's 11-1 at 28 years old. How do you not sign Kevin? Right? He's 14.
They delayed it. Okay, thanks, Kobe.
Ends the fight with a 20-punch combo. The light heavyweight kid, Kevin, I wouldn't have signed him tonight, but Mick wanted him.
Since this isn't live, dude, you wouldn't have signed him, but Mick wanted him? What the fuck is Dana even talking about, dude? Like, seriously, what the fuck is Dana even talking about? It's like, dude, it's your fucking show. You are the president of the UFC. Don't fucking sign the guy that you don't want to sign. Don't let fucking Mick sway your decision. Oh, well, Mick wanted him. Who fucking cares? Fuck Mick.
How do you not sign Daniel and Danilo? I mean, yeah.
So does that say to you that the talent level you're bringing in is better now than it was previously?
Oh, Kevin Eiley going hard.
I think that they're obviously, you have these kids that are the right age with the right number of fights, and they come in and they perform when they're supposed to. So, yeah, I mean, you got to give them a shot. Listen, you can sit here and I don't care how long you've been in the business, you never know. It's like that kid, the last fight, that kid was an 8-1 underdog. You just never know who could end up being what's his name? When I think about the Ultimate Fighter, he was picked last. I mean, how many guys were picked last on the Ultimate Fighter?
Gastelum.
Yeah, Gastelum. Exactly. That's what I was thinking of. Kelvin was picked last. Somebody else was too, picked dead last, and look at what they became. So you never know. If we're here doing this and you got these guys with these records and perform like they do, got to give them a shot.
What about the heavyweight? I mean, the fact that, he lands, you expect the heavyweight to be explosive and big, power like that. But he immediately was on top of him and showed the great grappling skills, so the diversity in the game. I mean, does that show you that, hey, this is a guy that could really develop into something as he gets more experience?
Well, that's the other thing. He drops him the way that he did. Then he jumps right down there. He puts the choke on him. He doesn't have his hooks in or anything, but sinks that choke. To think of that, a lot of guys would have just started punching. Yeah, I mean, that guy showed up tonight and delivered. He looked like the 8-1 favorite.
And you said you thought there were a couple that might be stars. Was he one of the ones that you referenced when you said that?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a heavyweight that can punch, and you never know.
Blah.
I'm definitely looking at Kevin. You know what I mean? Kevin Vallejos, and yeah.
And then the last thing, in Vallejos' fight, I mean, the way he just seemed to ooze that confidence. Do you think that there's like a belief when guys go through this once that they develop a belief in themselves?
Well, then when you look at who he lost to Silva, who's a fucking murderer. I mean, that guy's a killer, right? He just beat Dober, so he should feel confident. He looks at who the guy who beat him, what that guy's done, and that was a hell of a fight.
Where does Kevin Lee fit in all this?
I just got one over here.
Yeah.
I heard earlier today the UFC signed Rainier de Ridder, so I was just wondering what went into that decision and what are your expectations for him?
Shit, I don't know about that. You have to ask Sean or Mick about that. Yeah.
That's huge news, and he's just like, I don't know. What?
And you're in. Is that something that we can expect in the next year, or is it kind of like a slow rollout, or are you expecting to do a big announcement at some point?
Yeah, I did my first fight in Ireland, and yeah, we'll start announcing stuff here. Beginning.
I have no idea. I have no idea. Dana's not giving us anything.
Joshua knockout.
What did I think? Yeah, listen, when you get two.
There is nothing to talk about on this card, so they had to ask him about fucking Anthony Joshua getting a fucking knockout. Are you serious? Oh, here. Okay, here's No Chill. No Chill, what's going on, my friend?
Well, bro's chinned MMA is my new motto here. It's not that I thought Cam Teague was going to win, because technically, I mean, in reality, Cam Teague was technically awful. He is just a brawler, and he plots forward. I knew Vallejo had a chance. A big chance. In fact, I even thought Vallejo was going to win, especially the fact that I know how much weight Cam Teague walks around at. He should be a bantamweight or a flyweight. But just say he's cutting about 6 pounds, which is insane. Okay. He doesn't like cutting weight. You got to cut weight. You got to get into shape. You know, he was jiggling in there a little bit. You can't be doing that in the MMA.
Not as much as Kevin Christian.
I don't. Okay. So I had the stream on. Whatever. Cameron Teague got knocked out. I made a taco bowl. Fine. Come back. And it was the worst fight I think I may have ever seen in my entire life.
Well, no fight is worse than Rose Carla 2, let's be fair.
Yeah, at least Rose Carla 2, at least they look like human beings and not that Eldritchian horror that is the lanky, muscleless blob that is Kevin Christian. Dude looks like the world's biggest IT tech support guy of all time. And I think he does something like that too. Absolutely.
Civil engineer, I think.
Dude, I don't even know what that means, but he needs to engineer some. He needs to engineer some donuts out of his diet, because Jesus, how did that guy used to make lightweight? Are you serious? That fight was so awful.
Terrible.
Not only could have what was the Italian guy's name? Mazzeo?
Yes.
Mazzeo looked okay on the feet. What does this brilliant MMA genius do? What does this brilliant MMA genius do? He takes down the 6'7" black belt and posts up in his guard an entire round. His coaches say, you should probably keep it standing. Okay, okay. What does he do? He gets in his guard again. This is high level shit, man.
No, that's what I said. I said that Kevin Christian did not get a submission. Mazzeo submitted himself.
And okay, not to mention that, the fact they're both just gassed after 5 minutes. How did that guy get a contract?
Mick wanted him. That was what Dana said. No, and that's what I said. I'm like, dude, Dana, who fucking cares about Mick, dude? If you don't want to sign a fucking guy, you're the president of the UFC. Don't fucking sign him.
You know what? I think they need some food for RDR.
That's
I think they're gonna do RDR versus Andre Muniz though.
Paradox said they signed who? Rainier de Ridder was once light heavyweight. And was he also the middleweight champ for one?
He was double champed. Anatoly Malikin went down to Rainier de Ridder's weight class, took his belt, and then he went down again and took his other belt.
Yeah,
it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, they wanted Malikin, that 3-weight champion, and Malikin's just a stylistic nightmare for Rainier de Ridder.
When Rainier de Ridder becomes top 10 in the UFC, can we all stop acting like Anatoly isn't really good? So I see everyone say, "Who is this bum? He's trash." One means nothing.
I honestly I haven't heard that much, but you're a little more in tune with like.
I'm in this casual people. Space.
Yeah,
there's a lot of casuals online.
I mean, I just think that Rainier de Ridder got fucked up by Anatoly Malikin like so bad that I can see that happening in the UFC with another guy, but 100% Anatoly Malikin is a fucking beast. He's just a little undersized, for heavyweight, if you ask me.
Yeah, well, he only weighs in at what, like 220 or 225,
I
something
have
like
no
that.
idea. But
I don't think
I
Rainer
would
de
think
Ritter
that.
is going to light heavyweight though.
You
I
don't
could
think
probably
so?
see it more going to. No, I would
85.
probably assume he's going to go to middleweight.
Yeah, that would probably be the best because obviously, I mean, guys in one aren't as big as the guys in the UFC.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, he's actually really big. Never mind. I don't know what I'm smoking. He's huge. What am I talking about? He's like 6'4".
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Obviously,
he's
Dana
not
White
built,
just
though.
totally. Can you believe he just totally no-sold that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he just went over it.
He was just like, "Yeah, I don't know. Ask Mick or Sean." It's like, do
Man,
you
he
do
looks like a
anything at
grandpa.
all?
Look at those cheeks, bro. Look at those cheeks. He's aging.
Yeah, I know about it an hour ago. Oh, okay. No chill. I'm officially the first founding member of your channel.
How was that?
No,
Kimbo Houston?
Kimbo.
Nah.
No. Italian IQ, he couldn't be bothered, literally.
Thanks.
All right, well, let's react to the rest of this. Somebody just
Yep.
this card was so terrible that somebody literally just asked him about Anthony Joshua getting knocked out.
Might as well
Big
just sign
heavyweights in
Kimbo
there.
Slice.
Fucking anything can
Oh,
happen, man.
not Kimbo.
He already did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other one, Dada 5,000.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I'm not invested either way whatsoever in it. I can say this, you know, the Warrens lifted their exclusivity for me to put that fight on Friday night. Good things happen to good people. I guess I'll say that.
And then big fight night this Saturday in Paris. Can you talk about the main event? Benoit Saint Denis versus Moicano. That's just kind of on paper. It's just a firefight between two killers. You know, with Benoit coming off the loss to Poirier, he has a lot to prove. But fighting his first main event in Paris is just going to be crazy. You can imagine.
Yeah, no, that should be an absolute war. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. You just said
Jesus
it all.
Christ, these journalists are great.
Teed it up. You're absolutely right. I agree.
He's like, can you just talk about the main event? And,
You just tell me how good the fight is.
Yeah, it's like, fuck?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good.
Every time we go to Paris, packed, fans are rabid there, so it should be a fun night.
Thank you.
Okay.
In front. We recently talked about you and Turkey Al-Alashik. Are we seeing more cohesion between you guys? Because I couldn't help but notice with Callum Walsh, he was wearing Riyadh season across his chest on the way to the ring.
Who?
I actually like this journalist.
Callum.
Callum?
Yeah. So he had Riyadh season on his T-shirt as he was walking to the ring. Is
Yeah.
that something that you teed up
His
for?
head's reflective these days.
Well, I know that Sheikh Turkey had invited him to come out to the AJ fight after the fight, but he had a bunch of family out there with him, but he really wanted to go. That was more of a thank you and a respect thing to Sheikh Turkey.
Fair enough. And with you
Whatever.
saying you're in when it comes to boxing, I just wanted to read a quote.
Hold on. He just said, "Hey, I noticed that Callum Walsh had like Riyadh season on his shorts." Oh no. That was more of a thank you to Turkey. What? Him being sponsored by fucking Turkey Al-Sheikh is a thank you?
I don't know, dude. He looks.
And he literally asked him, "Hey, are we gonna see more collusion with you and Turkey Al-Sheikh?" He's just like, "Yeah, I don't know."
Dude, he doesn't know. He probably doesn't know what collusion means.
About you and the UFC from Eddie Hearn earlier this year. And he said the reason their business is so successful, and I'm envious of it, is fighters sign a central contract. It's not a case of you're told, who you're told you're fighting, and we'll see you there. There are no arguments or renegotiation.
Look at Dana's face. He's like just utterly confused.
It's a case of, all right, you versus you, that's the fight, see you there. And then they go out and announce it. And I think he's talking about you, would struggle to come to terms with that lack of control that you have in boxing. And I think he's talking about when, sometimes in boxing, fighters would get a piece of the back end with pay-per-view and, fighter pay. There's differences between boxing and MMA. Do you have a response to that quote? It's from earlier this year in 2024.
Eddie Hearn is dead on. I absolutely agree with everything that he said.
Wow.
I have a plan. You know.
Oh shit!
He's got a plan to
We're gonna
pay them as
implement
little
that
as
plan,
possible.
and we'll see how it works. You know, we'll see how this thing works. People have
Oh
been
shit!
talking about the demise of boxing for 30 years, and we're still here talking about boxing right now. I have always had an idea of how I thought it should be done. I don't know if that's possible, but we're going to find
It's not possible because of the Ali Act.
out. I'm coming in guns a blazing.
You've got like UFC, Contender Series, Slap. Would you have space to do boxing as well, or would you have like a figurehead to kind of run it for you?
I'll build the offices right here at the Apex. The offices will
Wow.
be here. We're already doing construction here, and I'm planning to build all the infrastructure right here at the Apex.
So, but would boxers
You
have
ready for
access
Power
to the
Box?
Performance Institute?
Yeah. I mean, anybody who's under contract. I mean,
Dana
Slap
White
has
Power
access to it.
Box.
Anyone who's under contract with us.
You just
has
trade
access to
right
it.
hooks with no guard.
Eddie Hearn also said that I think if he was to do something in boxing, I think his preference would be to do it with us. If he was going to do it with anybody, I think your preference might be to do it with Tom Loeffler. Is Eddie right, or am I right?
Listen, I like Eddie Hearn very much. Eddie Hearn was at the Sphere fight. He came early before the fight started. I have a great relationship with him. I have a great relationship with the Warrens. Obviously, love Tom Loeffler and his matchmaking and what he does. Yeah, I would probably be working with a lot of people. I'm sure you can assume the people that I would not be working with.
Oscar De La Hoya.
I think that's
Yep.
you have to be a fucking genius to figure that one out. But yeah, I like Eddie Hearn a lot and would love to work with Eddie Hearn.
Outside of Callum Walsh, do you envisage working with other boxers in the next 6 to 12 months?
Yes.
Bud Crawford.
Is one of those boxers Terence Crawford?
Like Terrence too. I'll let you know the plan
I'll tell you the plan. I already know
when
the
everything's
plan.
done. I'll lay out.
Tell me.
This is the plan. He's gonna find some really, really good. He's gonna have hire some great talent scouts to find the best boxers that he could get for the lowest amount of money. And he's gonna sign them into exclusive 10-year contracts with no pay negotiation.
You can't.
He'll sign them as UFC fighters because this isn't boxing. This is power box. This is how he thinks it should be done. There'll be independent contractors, just like the UFC.
I think you might be onto something because he obviously can't, but I think he's gonna try and get away with it until somebody tries to intervene.
Bro. You see that devious shiny head? He's gonna worm his way into taking as much money as possible.
So I was a little hesitant. I'm always hesitant to just be like, "Yeah, Dana said it, so it's happening." But sounds like this motherfucker really is trying to get into boxing. That's actually some interesting news, from my estimation.
I won't be watching.
I mean, I'm gonna check it out, but I don't know. It's just too early to tell what that's gonna look like, you know?
There's no way to. We'll have to see.
Exactly.
Out what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it. And
hold on. Ganscow says they're gonna put boxing in a cage.
I mean, okay. I mean,
that might be interesting.
I mean,
but you gotta do 4-ounce gloves. You gotta do the Chatri route.
Oh man,
you know?
boxing with more clinching. That would be great. That would be awesome.
He would absolutely work with Oscar. I mean, he doesn't have to start out with, but I mean, dude, this is like a whole nother separate stream. I think talking about Dana White and boxing. Let's hear what else he has to say.
Thank you.
I've just got one more for the boxing. Will we potentially see UFC fighters taking a break and doing a boxing fight? Or
I love it, Gansko.
God, I hope not. Yeah, no. Completely separate.
You know what's funny about that though is it's like, of course you would want to get boxers that would want to box, or MMA fighters that would want to box instead of do MMA if you're running a boxing promotion, dumbass.
No, because you can pay MMA fighters less.
Again, I don't know what it's going to look like, but yeah, you're exactly right from Dana's end, but like from the MMA.
I don't think this is going to help the sport. I mean, boxing. I mean, let's not act like boxing needs Dana White's help. Dana White needs to follow boxing's formula in regards to fighter pay and fighter treatment. So, if anything, he's coming up with a little scam here.
I think you're 100% right, bro.
You said in 2017 you were going to do it. You had a Zuffa boxing shirt. What happened then, and why did you change? Because when you
This is
said
Kevin
then
Lowell.
you were out, now how did you commit?
Well,
I can answer this question. It's because Turkey's giving him money now.
every time I get on the phone with these guys, I go, am I out of my fucking mind? You know, it's just, but I think that, you know, obviously now is the time, or I would have done it then. You know, I was kicking around. I mean, I was even talking about Anthony Joshua at one time and stuff like that. You know, I'm glad that I pumped the brakes and we waited, and everything is about timing. And is now the time? We're going to find out.
Why do you think now is better than 2017?
There's a million reasons why now is.
AJ's on point with this comment.
You know, if you notice with the, as far as boxing goes, even as much money as Sheikh Turkey is throwing into this thing,
Yep.
you know, television deals aren't really abundant right now. There's just a lot of things that I think I can do that other people haven't done yet.
You said to the Irish people, I'm HBO, he's the promoter, referencing Tom. If you, when you get into what you're talking about, getting into boxing, will you carry that philosophy? And then is this something that will just be to build Fight Pass into a bigger entity?
I will definitely be HBO.
Whoop.
Dana over here.
Yep.
What
You
the fuck is he
mentioned,
talking
obviously,
about?
Your first fight with the Callum one that just happened. I also noticed that the broadcast for Callum Walsh's fight was very similar to the UFC one. They had the same graphics and everything. So, did you receive any feedback from their production team on how it went using some of the stuff the UFC uses in their production? Having all the guys under one promotion, would that be the best thing for
Oh,
boxing?
good. My
You said
shawty's
yes,
about to
as long
come
as all
on.
the right
No more
people are
Dana.
involved. So, is that what you envision in your project? Eventually, one day having all the best boxers under one umbrella, sort of thing.
Well, it's not like that hasn't been done before. I mean, there have been dominant promoters before that have had most of the talent locked up. But listen, I think if you asked anybody, and even if you ask yourselves, the UFC model works. It works.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
bullshit.
There's
bro.
a lot to react to there, honestly.
Let me unpack the first part of bullshit. Let's just go through this. What is he talking about doing? What is this big project? What does he mean by getting all these fighters underneath one umbrella? What he means is, hey, you know what boxing needs? I think they're getting treated a little bit too well. We should monopolize the industry as much as we can. That's literally what he just said. He just publicly said he wants to monopolize boxing. He literally just admitted it. And he said the UFC model works well. All the stars are under one banner. Yeah, you monopolize. You want to monopolize boxing now too. And to rebut AJ's point, I do agree that Saudi has paid the fighters a ton of money. However, just in basic principle, if you look at the profit margins between UFC and boxing, it's almost 3 times as much money the boxing industry gives back to their fighters. And what I mean by that is 15% of the revenue UFC makes goes back to the fighters, as opposed to most major sports leagues, which is around 50%, including boxing.
Yes. Yeah, and on the back end too. And this has actually been a long time myth, and actually one that I believed at one point. One of the many lies that Dana just like spews out of his mouth. When he said, hey, boxing just lose. Every boxing event is a going out of business show, right? He famously said that many times. Contradicted by him saying, yeah, I'm going to get into boxing now. But I think that he does have a point with just Turkey Al-Sheikh in general putting money into the sport. It's probably the main reason why Dana now is like, well, fuck it. I got him backing me.
It's been the responsibility of setting up the super fights and making things like Fury versus Ngannou, even Fury versus Usyk. Was that in Ridge season?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's helped out a lot in negotiating and making these fights happen. However, I just think he's doing this for all the wrong reasons. He has all the wrong intentions in mind. And I think that boxers literally make 3 times the amount of money on per average. And you got to remember that these journeyman boxers or these horrible boxers are literally not getting paid. Like that's a little bit of they're literally not getting paid. It's the stars or the ranked guys that are getting a lot more than the UFC.
So Ganskow says, I feel like more UFC fighters make enough to earn a living than pro boxers. And I'm glad that, because this leads right into what you were saying. So from what I think, it's like low level to mid level MMA fighters make a better living than mid level to low level boxers. But at the top end, like guys like that are ranked and have a long standing in the UFC, they get significantly underpaid. I mean, what Dominic Cruz got paid $100,000 to get his nose broke and knocked out by Chito Vera.
Frank Mir didn't make 6 figures to main event UFC 100.
Right, exactly. So it's like
That's
at the top end, UFC fighters are severely underpaid. But I've kind of stopped caring, because it's like, well, they're not going to unionize. They're never going to do anything about it. So who fucking cares? Fuck them. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not saying fuck them. I'm definitely, like, there's this thing that's very interesting right now. Nobody's talking about it, but it's called the GFL. It's going to be launching in January, and I'm very much looking forward to what they've done. Haven't signed anybody too big. I mean, their biggest signing so far has been Tanner Boser. Do with that what you will.
Right.
But I think a formulaic modern sports approach to MMA could actually be extremely helpful to combating this absolute lack of unionization, lack of healthcare, lack of fighter rights, lack of pay. Just a lack of pay compared to the profits that the UFC make. It's like a gorge.
I feel you, but at the same time, that's wishful thinking, dude. Look at what every other promotion before the UFC, or shit, since the UFC started, has tried to do, man. Like, they've all tried to... and I understand it's a different model, but it's like, unfortunately, if you're not the UFC, you're going to lose money, and UFC has such a stranglehold on the MMA game that I don't think anybody can break into it.
I think in America, that is definitely true. But in other places, and let's just be honest, the ones that do succeed in the United States, like PFL and Bellator, pay just like the UFC. Just
or worse.
But one championship's very guilty of that too. But you see European promotions like Octagon and KSW offer out these contracts that UFC fighters. Ilya Topuria makes less right now than a KSW champion, which I just find baffling.
Yeah, I actually personally believe that KSW does make money and they are successful. I mean, just look at their shows; they're always popping. I mean, I don't release the know. I mean, I'm not in the know about Polish MMA.
They filled up a stadium with 50,000 people earlier this year, which was huge.
Exactly. For sure, UFC underpaying. Boxing is monopolized by the top guys.
Well, I mean, you could say that, but also trickling down the wealth obviously just doesn't work. That's just the oldest myth of mankind. Becoming a boxing champion, you're going to make significantly more. Anderson Silva has never made a single payday in all of his fights combined than Tyson Fury's made in one.
True.
That's tragic.
I think
we're talking different numbers. We're just talking numbers that Conor McGregor only gets to see, and nobody else.
And even Conor McGregor is probably the most underpaid guy ever in the sport, right? I mean, for the amount of wealth he's generated just in single nights.
He's making like $20 million, so it's not too bad.
So we agree on the lower end UFC is better. Yes. Top tier better for boxing.
It's not. I don't know if I necessarily agree, because I think it's kind of like the same. In boxing, you could train in boxing and not make a lot of money. What's up, Hank? But in the UFC, and just like boxing, you are making, technically, you're probably making more money than a lower level boxer. But it's hard to say that, because like lower level MMA and lower level UFC aren't the same things at all. A lower level MMA guy is not getting paid anything, just like boxing. UFC is a promotion, which it's a different system of just a different corporate system. I hate to use the word corporate when it comes to sports, but it's just a different maneuver and a different system that it uses. UFC guy on the lower end or the middle end still doesn't make enough money to live as a UFC guy. They still have to work a second job. So I don't know if I totally agree.
Oh, sure, I understand. So Hank, we're reacting to the press conference.
What did he say? What the
well, at first he was talking about the card, and then somebody quickly asked him about the boxing thing, him getting into boxing, and he basically said, "Hey, I'm going to change the boxing game." And
how did he say he's going to change it?
And he's also going to change.
He did. He did though, didn't he?
No, I'm just saying. Tell Hank.
Right.
He's gonna change it.
Well, No Chill had a great point about how he was going to change it, but I think I'd rather let you tell that. But
Pretty much, he said he wants to get all the top fight. He literally just announced that he wants to monopolize boxing. He just announced it.
Great.
And using words that don't have the word monopolize. He said he wants to indicate all the top fighters. He said, well, the top guys have been locked down before. Basically, he wants to put boxers under the same system that the UFC operates on with their rosters, fighting, and things like that.
And but like people have for a long time said that will never happen because of the Ali Act. But I think that No Chill's onto something. What the fuck's there to stop Dana from attempting to do that?
Yeah, what's to stop him from making a sport that's not boxing, but it's called power box? Like what?
No,
like,
Dana White power box.
Yes. Yeah, Dana White's power box, or something stupid like that.
On Chinese.
The truth is, if you're going to implement the same style as the UFC, you're going to completely ignore and butcher the Ali Act. I think Dana White getting into boxing is a terrible thing. I think this is going to lead to, unless Turki Al-Ashish has a complete and utter stronghold over Dana and all of his decisions, because he genuinely, I mean, even though he's like a dictator, for sports he's a pretty good guy.
He's not a fucking dictator. Well, how is he a dictator?
Which one is? Is that WWE that did the dictators?
Let me ask you, how is Turki Al-Ashish a dictator?
Is that not the leader of Saudi Arabia?
People are so fucking dumb, dude. Okay, Turki Al-Ashish, his official title is Minister of Entertainment and Sports.
Oh, okay. Well,
he's not the fucking Prince of Saudi Arabia. That's Mohammed bin Salman.
Oh, well,
dude, how do people still think that Turki Al-Ashish is the Prince of Saudi Arabia?
I thought he was the same guy from WWE. They do the stuff with the Prince all the time.
Well, actually, I
got confused
about that, Skatesman. The whole entire WWE roster was in a dining room, and they literally got held hostage for like an entire day.
When was this?
Princes. Yeah, it was like 2020, 2021, and somebody said something stupid, and they were like, "Oh, you can't leave this room."
Oh, they said some shit that like wasn't allowed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so everyone was fearing for their lives.
He said, "Yeah, my wife got home from work."
Well, so that's that. I mean, so like Mohammed bin Salman is the only reason why Turki Al-Ashish is able to do what he's doing, because Mohammed bin Salman, obviously King Salman is still the king of Saudi Arabia. He's like the leader.
All right, I don't know. Whatever.
No. I'm gonna tell you. King Salman is the leader of Saudi Arabia, but Mohammed bin Salman has kind of taken out some people. That's all I'm gonna say. To basically, he's the guy with all the power now.
He took them out through effective debating.
Yeah.
Through certain ways, he's had some of them arrested. Some of them had disappeared. So he's the one changing everything now. So actually, women can work in Saudi Arabia now.
It's true.
He's actually gotten rid of the police and vice and virtue that roam the streets. Wow. And
that's good.
Look,
that's
the reason why Turkey is able to do what he's doing. You understand? Because but the biggest thing is that obviously the world is switching to EVs, so like the gas and oil money that they have in excess needs to be diversified, and they need to start getting into other things. I mean, they own like 3 or 4 soccer teams.
Sport washing, right?
Yeah, right. That's exactly what's happening, but it's for the benefit of the country itself. Now,
right?
You say that it's a good thing, and it is. I'm not saying it's not. But if you look at what happened to the Shah of Iran before the Iranian Revolution, he did the same exact thing, and he actually made it to where, like, I mean, there's pictures of the Shah's time in power, of women smoking and like wearing bikinis on the beach, right?
Yeah, but the Shah never had Anthony Joshua, though.
Well, boxing, I mean, wasn't as commercially viable worldwide, or MMA. But the thing is they had a whole ass revolution over that when he banned the Ayatollah. He went on like a whole thing politically, like they were giving him big time interviews, and once he came back, he was like the man. After the Shah died.
All in this book, Persepolis. Great book.
Okay, good shit. Good plug there. Yeah. But yeah, like the thing is like if Mohammed bin Salma goes too far with the fucking changes that he's making, I predict that, you know, because it goes against all like core Muslim values, especially Wahhabism, which is a pretty extreme form of Islam, which is the most popular in Saudi Arabia. So, but yeah, sorry to go off on that huge tangent there, but that's just kind of how things are working nowadays inside of the country. So, with that being said, you know, it ties into like I think that's the only reason why Dana White is able to go into boxing now, and I think that you're 100% right though, No Chill. I think he's going to just attempt to do boxing the same way he does the UFC, and that's why this stream has literally turned into like Dana White in a boxing conversation now.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that's
shocked, dude. I was expecting this to end like 30 minutes,
right?
Minutes in, we are at 56 minutes.
No,
right?
and it would have if
yeah.
And thank God, I really appreciate you being here, No Chill, because
I gotta finish my cupcake. I was watching though.
He's helping us he helped me get this conversation going, and he's had some fantastic points. So thanks a lot. But yeah, I mean, Hank, I guess your reaction to all of what we've been discussing.
What does Hank the Tank think about this?
Good luck to Dana White. I've seemed to notice that any business venture he has outside of the basic blueprint format of the UFC tends to fucking fail and have a big fucking pie in his face. So
actually, Power Slap is the #1 sport in the world.
Oh yeah. Well, all those Chinese bots, dude, they're racking up the subscriber counts, man. It's highly viewed by little kids who are fingers are broken working on the little digital robots.
Suing the UFC gloves.
So kind of those little to really benefit Power Slap and all the hillbillies who get CTE and permanent face damage. Yeah, they're really
for the enjoyment of MGK.
But Dana White said he's going to become Showtime.
Yeah, it's bigger than.
Sorry, he said he was going to become HBO in the boxing space.
Well, he's bigger than all the football teams already. Idaho Statesman. I mean, it's not like there are 16 football teams alone that have bigger social media impact than Power Slap has. That
might be bigger than the Titans.
But anyway, I mean, he actually has a chance of doing that compared to Power Slap because he actually has big names there. But if I know one thing about the UFC, it's that sometimes they bring in these big names and they absolutely shit the fucking bed. And then the sport fucking dies because of it. It's like literally fight results could determine whether or not your business venture or expansion works out or not. So I feel like that they're going to have some boxers that are going to be dumbass, coke sniffing politicians. They're not going to look like they did in their boxing days. And I don't know, man. I just see it fucking, blowing up in their face.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, do you think he's going to have former boxers on like administrative roles? Like, what do you mean by that?
No, I just think they might actually have too much leeway. I think they will. I don't think they're going to take it for long. I feel like they're going to become a little manipulator. I mean, we got some of those in MMA. We got some guys that are big stars. They use their pull to make sure that this happens and that happens, and then I fight.
Oh, you're saying you think the fighters are going to... You think the fighters are going to take advantage of poor Dana?
Well, we'll see, dude.
So.
Like,
I think if you compare to how the UFC fighters like the bullshit pay and the bullshit things that Dana White does and how they are treated, I think that this will definitely fail. But I think boxing is in the right direction compared to how the UFC fighters are doing.
I don't even understand what they're saying. So they're going to have a boxing ring with boxers.
Yes.
Okay.
Not an extension, it's a separated brand.
That gives me an entirely different...
Well, hold on. He hasn't even officially announced anything yet.
I know, but... Dude, you're spending fucking 20 minutes on it, so obviously you're taking...
30. No, hold on. Chill out. I'm just saying, like, obviously he has confirmed with this press conference, from me, a lot of people were on this weeks ago when he did say, yeah, we're thinking about getting into boxing. He's just confirmed that he is getting into boxing. What I'm more interested in is just, like, the fact that he said he's going to...
monopolize
as No Chill said, he's going to monopolize it. Now,
he's not. Let's just be so honest. He would never... pay the money that boxers are already getting, and that's
so. But what I'm saying is, like, as far as what's gonna be called, with the rules, whatever the fuck, all that other
nobody knows
the particulars. Like, yeah, nobody knows just yet. So, waiting for an official announcement to really know exactly what he said. That's all I was saying.
That is very interesting. There's never really been a boxing promotion, if you really think about it, has there?
Well, PBC is a boxing promotion that's been on many different platforms.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like a brand like the UFC where fighters are exclusive to this and they're seen, and outside is not really conditioned to a mainstream audience. Like outside the world of MMA never gets talked about on UFC programming.
You have a good point.
Like something like that.
It's more the platform. It's more the platform. Showtime Boxing, HBO Boxing.
Yeah, like a completely isolated platform that gets mainstream coverage. I could see Dana White doing something like that, but that's a almost impossible thing to pull off when you have already so many established boxers. I don't know. I think a lot of MMA fans are going to be interested in this. I don't know if boxing fans are going to be lining up to watch this. This is what
because they already know what boxing is. They know the shitty nature of boxing. So yeah, I think you have a good point. I think it's actually a good way to turn Dana White dick suckers over into boxing fans and get some money based off that and promotion. But in the larger aspect of it, it's like, dude, this is bound to fail in the way you're outlining it.
I feel like it's going to go the way of the XFL and the USFL compared to the NFL, because in many ways those two promoters are sort of similar. They want to make a spin-off, and so they select certain athletes, rejects from the boxing. Yeah. Oh, and they'll become big stars, but you don't always get a Mike Perry, man.
Well, and again, we don't know if it's going to be a spin-off just yet.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what it is, but
I feel like it's going to be some stupid, disgusting visual. Just fucking
mess. Just trade. I had this idea. Just trade right hooks with no guard up.
Yeah.
Well, somebody said that they would do it in a cage, and I'm like, that's a new gimmick.
That would actually be interesting.
I said BKFC rules or somebody said BKFC rules 4-ounce gloves. I'm like, cool, but as No Chill said, he's like, oh, yay, boxing with more clinching.
That would be great.
But there's another problem because forever, representatives of the UFC have been like, oh no, we're safer than boxing because when someone gets knocked down,
good point.
Therefore, we're the safer sport than boxing. We're the more moral.
Yes, they ran on that.
Oh, now we have boxing. Oh, now people are going to get.
Yo, that's a great point.
Yeah,
he ran on that for years. Nobody's boxing. People have died in boxing. Nobody's died in the UFC. Nobody's died in the UFC.
Well, it's like I said. Like this contradicts everything Dana's ever said about boxing. Right?
Yeah, dude.
Boxing. Every boxing event's a going out of business sale. As Hank just brought up, it's actually you get more brain damage in boxing. It's like. This is really. There's a lot to react to.
I think it just goes to show Dana White's willingness to completely backtrack statements in order to make a new profit margin.
Money talks, dude. I think this is all the doing of Turkey Al-Sheikh.
And he's always had boxing on the brain as well, forever. Yes. So
yeah, he was a boxer. There was no MMA really.
Some of the worst decisions.
The
worst decisions in the history of the UFC have been because Dana's reacting to boxing. And wants to do something to upset people who are making boxing, including everything that has happened to John Jones within the last couple years. So fuck him for having boxing on the brain. You're literally they're only hurting boxing by literally having MMA events when there's boxing. Like, let's be honest, there's a few boxing promotions that have gone out of business. Showtime's gone out of business, but it's only because of MMA's presence that I think has contributed to it. When you actually try to be boxing, if anything, I think you're giving them more influence.
Do you think that he will have a Fight Night or Apex card during like a pay-per-view boxing event that he's also promoting at the same time on the same night?
No, he'll counter program other leagues.
It'll be the new One Friday Fights for boxing.
Yeah. Damn it! Don't take that away from me, Dana.
Yeah. Right at the same time as one. Whoopsie.
Well, goddamn that. That is an interesting tangent, and I think if we get like an official announcement, I think we should do a reaction stream.
Before either January or before. It's going to be either in January or before the end of the quarter.
Well, their deal is up by the end of this year with ESPN.
With the boxing thing I'm talking about.
Well, right, but I think they'll wait till their deal is up, and then they'll try to like
a crazy big press conference. They don't do anything big. I don't know.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, I think once their deal is up. They'll announce like a new deal, and I think Dana will try to get tough Contender Series, obviously regular UFC bullshit, probably Power Slap, and probably his new weird boxing league, like diversified on whatever platform he's trying to go for. I have a theory that he's going to try to go for multiple platforms, though, probably just not be exclusive to one.
Spread his tentacles. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Who do you think should coach the next season of Tough?
I don't give a fuck, and I hate tough.
I think we should do Weili Zhang, Bernie Jandaroba.
I hate you. I hate you.
That's what's gonna happen.
Who do we have? Paradox says, who do we got for the Paris main event?
Well, you'll just have to find out on Thursday, Paradox the chat.
Yeah.
But whoever it is that I'm going to choose, he's going to be money. So yeah,
Benoit Saint
we'll have to see on Thursday. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
The weird thing about that fight is, like, obviously we know Moicano has a skill set, and
he's good at one thing only.
Right, and like generally when he's fighting a really good striker, I mean, after he got pieced up by Fazeev, I was like, damn, like he embarrassed the shit.
You guys forget the RDA fight. What a guy that he can't go to the ground with.
Yeah.
RDA beat him to a pulp.
That's a good point.
I think Benoit something
he's very experienced, man.
But see, obviously Benoit Saint Denis got fucked up by Dustin in his last fight.
Yeah,
and now I understand, but it's like we've kind of finally seen Benoit's arm, like a chink in his armor.
Yeah.
Now again, the big excuse was, he had staph, but it's like
I disregard that.
I think that would have happened at the end of the day.
You know what makes this interesting? If this was a 3-round fight, I would be super, super confident in Benoit Saint Denis piecing him up. With those extra 2 rounds, you never know how the gas tank of Benoit's going to look. I know Moicano has a good gas tank.
I also want to mention something that not a lot of people forget, man. People forget about this. Matt Frivola took down Benoit Saint Denis. First round, like first minute of that fight. Like, do you think that, Renato Moicano is going to keep him down for the exact same amount of time, if lesser? No, I think he's going to stay on top. He's going to change.
Well, and then Matt Frivola did get his head kicked off by Benoit Saint Denis. So
yeah, and
I wouldn't say Moicano is known for his takedowns. I say he's more known for his jiu-jitsu positional control. It will be hard to get Benoit down there in the first place.
But he got him down. Frivola still got him down. And Benoit's like a maniac coming in, and that's why he got caught by Poirier. I mean, couldn't we say Benoit Saint Denis, doing random shit,
getting caught by Moicano? Absolutely
into a double leg.
No. With double leg, maybe, yeah.
I think you have a good point.
He can compete on the ground as well. It's not like he's not good on the ground. Is the only difference.
Right.
If he didn't have grappling, I would say
Moicano's better on the ground.
Probably. Well, yeah.
So let's run through a couple more comments, and then we'll get Hank the Tank's thoughts on this card before we cut the stream. TBH seems like he could pull this off if he focused on new prospects and building a roster. I mean, prospects on Top Rank literally get built up for years and years and years. So yeah, I guess maybe in the long term.
Yeah, it would be a long-term investment if he's going to go that route.
I just don't see them paying high-tier fighters their asking rate.
Yep, exactly. Good point, AJ.
I mean,
don't see that either.
It depends on. I mean, are high-tier boxers going to want to sign over with Dana White on this random new platform?
How much is Turkey Al-Hashish involved?
Al-Hashish.
That's the question. Because
that is the question.
Dana White,
I suspect a lot. But again, we don't know.
He didn't really hint to that, though. He kind of hinted that it was his boxing thing.
Well,
If Turkey's involved, you will see a lot of top guys go. If Dana White goes, I'll say you only see Bud Crawford and pretty much nobody else that's super mainstream.
Hey, that's happened before with Bud. Bud's taken. I mean, shit. I mean, people forget that he fought. When he knocked out David Avanesian, it was on a platform called Black Prime, BLK Prime, and
that's my platform.
They haven't done an event since.
I just got my Black Prime merch.
Yes,
it's not City.
They should absolutely do 0 boxing, 0 clinch allowed. That would be fire.
0 boxing?
I guess. We're back. We need DJ Aiden back. What is that?
Lift us a little bit more. No Chill can feel uncomfortable the entire time.
Benoit Saint Denis is taking home the W. Let's go.
I believe you, Anakin.
Here comes the City Life Project. Isha is here, the MMA junkie.
Rather watch hockey than UFC. Going to NHL game instead before main event starts. With no K1, who gives a fuck about Saturday? Sunday is all that matters.
Hey, listen, fuck UFC. I hate everything UFC. Any other sport is better than UFC on Sunday. I'll just watch that, guys.
Fuck
Damn.
UFC. Yeah,
Hank's
whatever.
Looking forward to
It's
Brendan
gonna be
Allen.
another
in the
fucking
Mohawk.
UFC Fight Night Austin, where it's like, oh, don't watch Dariush versus Sarukian because Octagon's on. It's great.
Holy shit, Hank just going in on
oh
Isha.
my
dude.
god!
Yeah.
Is Isha Ariel Hawani in this
Whoa.
impression?
Yeah, pretty much.
I could use
Octagon
some.
is
Telling
pretty
us
good,
not
though.
to watch Fight Night Paris. Great idea, Isha. Great.
No, he's just saying he's gonna go to an NHL game, and there's no K1, so he's not really that stoked.
Yeah.
Dude, I think you should change your name
Dude.
to Hank the Bait because you fall for it every time.
Isha, don't fall for the bait. You know he's gonna watch the fucking fights back.
Of course. You'll just miss Nate the Train getting a KO in the first round.
Who's Nate the Train fighting?
Never said fuck UFC, Hank. I trigger Hank. Ooh, he got you.
You trigger each other. It's a cohesive relationship, symbiotic, if you will.
Well, jeez.
Like the bird who's sticking the
Symbiotic antagonization. What are you?
All right. Hank, we got to get your rundown on this card, though.
All right, I'm gonna.
Oh, hold on.
Very
He says,
fun.
"Who is Nate the Train?"
All right. On that note, I'm gonna go.
Thank you, No Chill. Thanks a lot, man. You added a lot to the show today. Thank you, man.
All right, there we go. Let's hear my thoughts. Listen, it's all in good fun, Isha. I know we go at each other. We get on each other's nerves a little bit. But I sent you some good songs today, Isha. So I want to see that Christmas card come December. I always give you the good stuff, Isha. Oh, the M1 legend. Yes, before the UFC, in which he had a fight of the night with David Onama. Yeah. Anyway,
let me pull up the card for you.
All right.
But go ahead. Sorry.
Good to have you, Isha. You never get on my nerves? Dude, you said that you smashed your head against the desk when you said that I thought that the sphere sucked. Like you said, I physically bashed my head on the desk. Anyway. So we have our 5 cards. Yes, sir. I got the good stuff for Isha. Anyway, we've made up. We kissed and we made up. We're good. Alexia Tainara beat the absolute shit out of Rose Conseco for as long as that lasted. She looked good, man. People forget, man. She had really great leg kicks that I want to know how many total leg strikes she hit in it, because it's got to be in it's at least double digits. It might even be close to triple digits. It's a lot. Yeah, the UFC. Thank you very much, Isha, for that.
All right, let's run through this quickly. I already kind of ran down all the fights.
Yeah, she beat the shit out of her. Rose literally had nothing for her. Even Alexia got the takedown. She got the takedown on the wrestler from LFA. So amazing stuff from Tainara. Then she started to show her capoeira kind of abilities and danced a little bit like Anderson Silva. And yeah, she was fun from start to finish. So good stuff.
Samurai Fight House owns Dana. Yeah, one of the guys had some fights from Samurai Fight House, which is some shit I've never heard of. Thoughts on Chase Super versus Clay Guida announced in December.
Or Clay, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
My thoughts exactly. Just getting Chase Super a name on the record.
That's disgusting. But yeah, Alexia, she's fun. She's got good post-fight promos. We listened to it. So yeah, she got that UFC contract for a reason.
I thought she should have.
Then Kevin Vallejos. Oh God, this is No Chill's least favorite part of the entire show.
Yeah, he came on and talked about it already.
I hope he had a tissue box with him.
He did. It was Waterworks.
Yeah, Kevin Vallejos, man, he beat the shit out of Teague, and it was, in my opinion, a perfect performance. Maybe there was one moment where Teague got a left hand at some point, but all I remember is Vallejos body shot, left, right, around the guard, uppercut up the middle, just timed him perfectly on basically everything. You could not have a better Contender Series performance, in my opinion, unless you got a one-punch KO like Unasi Duban or something. Perfect from Vallejos. Kid has power. I don't know if he has star power, but I think he's definitely great in the octagon.
I mean, he's really young, so it's tough.
He can
to
build it up over time.
I mean, a star in MMA is
a stretch. Yes. And then Kevin Christian, thank God, this is what allowed me to beat Sean Moody in the Contender Series.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yes, but actually, I wiped the floor with Moody. He was never up on. He actually stole my picks, every single one. He didn't have a different name for any of the fights. We just had a difference of opinion regarding the outcomes, and I think I picked Vallejos perfect with a first round KO. He got third round KO, and then he had Kevin Christian by decision, and I had him by submission. So that worked out perfect. Not in terms of his actual performance, though. I was expecting Christian to just run at him and then take him down and find the submission there. But he was getting taken down by Mazeo, who was the better wrestler somehow, despite being taken down by the last two guys and getting lucky when one of them just broke their shoulder and the other one hit him with an illegal knee to the head. But no, you're a wrestler now. Oh, you're a wrestler now. You're going to touch butt in the park. But Mazeo looked really good until he didn't. And I think I said at one point during the fight, oh, Christian, this might be an Anderson Silva, Chael Sonnen situation where he just throws up the triangle and he finds it. And
you cannot compare this terrible fucking fight to Chael versus
Anderson. He was an all-time great skatesman, all-time great finish.
Come on, dude.
Greatest fight I've ever seen.
I mean, I understand the finish was similar, but it's like
he found it, man. He found the triangle. It was broken.
Anderson Silva versus Chael, dude. Come on, man.
This is the greatest thing since Silva and Sonnen. What are you talking about? The nose.
Dude.
I saw this kid on the regionals. This kid's got a future. But Kevin Christian looked like shit almost the entire time, and then he threw up the submission and he got it. So there you go. Yeah. He's got long legs and he used the long legs. And Denai was pissed the entire time about the fight. So
yeah, the fight was terrible. The guy should not have been signed.
Yeah, it's fucking. Who was it? What was the name of the guy who was like, "Oh, this guy whispered in my ear," and so I was like, "Okay, I'll sign him."
I have no idea.
Heaven.
Oh, Mick Maynard.
Mick Maynard. Fuck you, Mick Maynard.
No, that's what I said. I'm like, and he said, "Oh, I didn't want to sign him, but Mick wants him," and it's like, who fucking cares what Mick Maynard wants, dude? You're the president of the UFC. Tell him to fuck off.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know why he's got to have those two fucking stooges in his head, but apparently he loves his matchmakers. He loves them real bad. And then we had, in my opinion, I'd say it was the best fight of the card. Daniel Frunze and Vadim Kutsi. Was it? I don't think this involved much wrestling, to be honest. Oh, wait, no. Yes, it did in moments. Because Kutsi, I think he hit a guy, he hit Frunze, and then he slipped.
Yes.
Oh, now I'm on top.
Good ground and pound.
Yeah. So Kutsi was doing really well in terms of overhand rights, just raining him down. But then Frunze was able to get back up second round and knocked him the hell. Honestly, it wasn't even that. It was like Kutsi gassed in the second round. He was hurt to the body. I think he had spent too much time outside the cage. He might have had some ring rust. And yeah, he gassed out relatively quickly and then just fucking shelled up, and Frunze got the KO. So good for Frunze for outlasting him, man. He earned a contract.
Yeah, I agree.
That tall Brazilian fuck didn't deserve it. And then we have finally had our main event, crazy upset, wild upset. I mean, we can't really call these upsets sometimes when it's just like, okay, this guy has dynamite in his fists. He might just get a KO if he uses the dynamite in his fists and he lands. And that's pretty much exactly what he did. One right hand, down went Schoenfelder. I don't think Schoenfelder tried to take down once. I don't think he even got the opportunity to. I think he just backed up and the vodka, man. Got it done. And then what I was actually impressed by from Danny Lowe is that he got the rear naked choke afterwards. So good for him for taking a striking situation, and he got it done. So bravo to the Ukrainian. Incredible upset, dude. I don't know who did Volkan pick. Sadly, I think that he picked Kutsi and the Ukrainian in a 2-fight parlay. But if he'd have just went with Frunze and him, he would have made a shit ton of money. So
yeah. Overall rating of the card.
Honestly, there's only one
real stinker.
Yeah.
I thought that the women's fight wasn't very good.
I thought it was
it was kind of a showcase more for
Honestly, I would give this. Fuck, man, I'd give it like an 8.
I gave it a 7.
5. Yeah,
and because the Kevin Christian fight was so terrible.
That's true, but it was a shocking result at the end of the day, and Hank likes his finishes. So, by the way, this is like the most I've ever seen AJ type messages in a chat. It was like a purple column.
He's up in here, man.
At one point, he was there forever. But yeah, I really enjoyed the card. There was never a moment where I was like, God, I can't wait for this to be over. Like there wasn't one fight that was like, this is boring and slow. I was scared for the
Kevin Christian
because I picked him. So maybe I had a different experience. Because
Kevin Christian fight was fucking absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
Your highest rated prospect from tonight.
Thinking about it, yeah, I would say it's Kevin Vallejos.
I sort of started to switch to Frunze just because of coming back, but yes, I mean Kevin looks to be like he has the most skills.
He couldn't have asked for a better performance. And I always love a fighter that's able to have good body work and then go to the body and to the head. That just shows good fundamentals to me. And he's fast as hell too. And beat a taller opponent as well in Cam Teague and made it look easy. So
sure,
that's what I got.
Yeah, and Danilo, it's too early to even say what the fuck he's going to look like in the UFC. So
we'll see.
But yeah, I mean, that was the card. You came in a little late. We had a lot of shit to talk about as far as boxing goes. But
hey, it was fashionably late. I showed up right on time.
That's why it's good to no worries. That's why it's good, I think, to just kind of go over the press conferences. Last time we did the press conference, it was just Dana White glazing over the sphere, so it was super boring. Not a lot to talk about. But this time, definitely a lot to talk about. But I think we should cut it there. I got to get the fuck out of here, honestly.
All right.
So, thank you for doing the Fight Companion today. Tell them what you got coming up this week.
I've got Hank's Think Tank covering the craziest and cringiest in MMA news. And then we got Idaho Skatesman and Hank the Tank's picks and preview for UFC Fight Night Paris, as well as Ryzen 48. And then, no, actually, I'm not even going to make that a joke. Fuck PFL Europe 3. That card fucking sucks, dude. It's bad. No name value on it whatsoever, and these guys have horrible records. I'm going to skip through it with some fucking locks and underdogs, and that's it. So, fuck PFL. Ryzen and UFC Fight Night Paris are where it's at. So we're going to be covering that. Who knows what the fuck we're going to do for Fight Companions for the weekend. It always changes from day to day. So look out for those.
I'll probably do some Muay Thai cards, but who fucking knows, as Hank said. Well, thank you, everybody, for attending. It's been a long stream for this card, but nonetheless, appreciate it. Hank the Tank, why don't you lead us out?
Yeah, appreciate you, Isha. Catch you on your next stream, man. I'll probably watch you on Friday. But until we meet again, troopers and grounders, you have escaped the war zone for now. So, Dana, beyond specifics, why are you even trying to expand the UFC to include boxing? What was that? Cocaine isn't cheap, okay? Cocaine isn't cheap. Just ask Oscar Day.